Welcome to Spotlight TV. I am your host, Emily Zubi. I'm in red. Why do you think I'm in red? Because it is a Go Red for American Heart Association season. That's right. And last year I was a woman of impact. And this year we have an incredible guest who is also a woman of impact for 2025. We have Jessica Younis Milton, and we're going to hear all about her story and kick off this campaign. Let's go. Welcome to Spotlight, Jessica.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to talk about my mission for joining Women of Impact. I recently, or let me get into it a little bit. I recently had my baby boy 8 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And part of sharing this story is why it relates to me joining or becoming a nominee for Women of Impact. And first and foremost, I would like to thank my mother-in-law, Anna Milton, for the nomination and for getting me involved in this wonderful cause. She really encouraged me to get involved in this as a new mother and as a woman, to learn about like heart health and the importance of taking care of yourself. So that really relates to my story of why I joined it. After when I was 9 months pregnant, I developed preeclampsia, and I had to be rushed to the hospital and had to be induced, and was in labor for 20 hours, which was super rough. And then I had an emergency C-section, and all of this was just super unexpected. And because of all of that happening, it really made me realize like how important taking care of yourself is. And I never thought I was going to develop preeclampsia. I never thought I would have high blood pressure, and like as a woman, and I thought I was healthy and all of that stuff going on. And so that was like a big wake up call for me to really be conscientious of my body and my heart health and taking care of my wellness overall. And especially after becoming a mom, you really have to be aware of all the things happening in your body. So that was a big reason why I wanted to do this, like to be a role model and like a voice for women, and now especially as new moms. So I'm really happy to be part of this. I'm really happy to like share my voice and share this mission with everybody, and hope I can be an example for all women out there.
That's incredible. You are an example. And I mean, we adore Anna. Anna is not only a Founder Circle member, but she's our 2025 Woman of the Year for 50 Shades of Pink Rockstar Awards this year. So, I mean, she nominated me last year, and I remember saying yes, and then it was off to the races.
Yes.
It's a long campaign and a lot to do and put your team together, but I think it's a brilliant campaign and I love it. And what I really, I can't wait to hear more about this story, because I'm sitting here thinking that, the thing about heart disease is that it's a equal opportunity disease. It doesn't matter what age. And people tend to think, oh, when, after a certain age or no, it could be at any age, and that, pregnancy and all these other things. So let's dig into that a little bit. So what were the first signs that something was wrong, if you don't mind sharing?
No, absolutely. So the story was actually really funny. It was that night we left a chocolate chip cookie on the coffee table, and we have a dog. So we were sitting down after having dinner, and we left the chocolate chip cookie. Like it was a double, very chocolatey cookie. And I went to the bathroom and came back, and my husband was, somewhere. And then I came back, the cookies were gone. And the first thing, my husband looks at me like, wow, what happened? Where are the cookies? And like, obviously the dog ate it. So he's like, freaking out, like wants to call animal, like poison control and whatever. And then I look at my husband, I'm like, I'm really not feeling so good. And he's like, no, you're fine. You're probably upset because the dog ate the cookies. I was like, no, I'm really not feeling good. So what I felt was a headache, and then just like my body felt really nauseous, and like I felt like sick. Like I just felt very like, that sick when you're starting to get a cold. I started to feel all those feelings, and like dizzy, nauseous, headache. And I'm like, this feels super weird. And throughout the whole day, I was feeling really off. And I thought I was tired. I went to go take a nap. The nap didn't help. I was drinking water. I was trying to do everything to think maybe I'm just not feeling good, but I really was actually not feeling good. So once I started telling my husband I don't feel so good, we text my doctor, and he's like, "Did you take your blood pressure?" I'm like, "No." Thankfully, we had a blood pressure machine at home.
Wow.
So I took my blood pressure. It was super high. And he's like, "You need to go to the hospital now." So thankfully, we had our hospital bags packed and all that. We rushed to the hospital. They run all of the tests and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be fine. They're going to send me home. I have no problem. Like, I'm sure it's some pregnancy thing going on with me. And then, they run all the tests and they do all of that. And then they're like, "Oh, you have preeclampsia." I'm like, "What?" Like, what is, like, no way. There's absolutely no way I would have that. Like, no, you really have it. And we have to induce you. And like
what is preeclampsia for?
So developing high blood pressure, especially, it happens after 20 weeks of pregnancy. And it can happen to anybody. You can be healthy, have everything, like have your pregnancy and everything under control. From my understanding, doctors say, or what I know is that it could stem from the placenta, or like an issue with the placenta. But it can really happen to anyone. And as I learn more about preeclampsia, is that it can come from stress or lifestyle or anything that like came up from during your pregnancy. So if you're like stressed or not taking care of yourself or not working out or like doing too much, then it's gonna contribute to you getting the high blood pressure.
Wow. So that night when you took it, what was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was,
but it was just,
it was very high. I took it like 3 times.
Okay.
And I mean, we didn't have like, so we took it 3 times and we sent it to my doctor and he's like, no, you need to go now.
Right.
So it was, I know, I remember just feeling like very like sick. Like I knew something was just very off.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story. And at a time where here you are pregnant, you're not that, how many weeks away was
I was 37 weeks. So thankfully, my son was full term and they said, okay, you're fine to get induced. But it was just it was a very like scary and scary experience to go through, not knowing anything that was going on and not having any control, because my only choice was to, be induced. And you would never expect to have that happen to you when you think you're all okay and everything is fine. Like that moment, you need to think like, I do need to be aware of these things. Like I do need to know about, things that can come up. And now I'm a lot more aware of like, my body and blood pressure and everything. So it really woke me up to that.
How has it changed your life as a young mom? Because I have one son, he's 29 now, but I will never forget that first year. And plus you're just so, enamored with your baby and everything.
Yes.
But, you try to be there to everything. It's so stressful being a young mom.
Absolutely.
And working and balancing everything else, a husband, a career. So how has this changed your life now? And how do you find, you keep your health in perspective and put your health first, because you have to?
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely challenging to put myself first. And that's still been a learning lesson for me throughout, the 8 months of being a mom. I know it's still like a very new thing. So it's been hard to challenge, not challenge, be a part of like working and then being a mom and then at home. And so trying to separate myself into like, 3-4 different roles has been tough. But what I found that helps is I need to make time for myself, whether it's like 1 hour of like walking outside, or I'm gonna take a bubble bath, or like just little things that I can do to give myself that moment of like peace. And those like little moments where I have time with my son, whether it's walking with him or like playing with him, I know I need to carve out time for myself. And exercising, like I worked out throughout my whole pregnancy. Now I'm going back to it. Obviously it's a little bit harder to work out now. To make the time for working out
Sure.
is not as easy as before. So I try to do it in the mornings. I'm trying to make time to go back and do yoga. That's been helpful, like, just to keep the peace and be calm and have that time for myself. So still learning how to find time for my, mom balance, mom life, work balance is definitely challenging.
What an inspirational story. What's your follow-up with, like, do you see a cardiologist after something like that regularly? Is that, handled by your, I mean, I'm just curious on the maintenance and,
Well, I would see like my OB, like my general doctor, and then I will be seeing a cardiologist just to double check everything is okay. But you don't really think about these things until they happen to you. Like I never thought, oh, I need to see doctors and check on myself. But until you go through something like that, it doesn't cause you to think to do it. You just think you're healthy and you're fine. But with the follow-up, I've been having checkups with my doctors and making sure like all my blood work is fine and everything is okay. So that's what I've been doing.
this is an incredible campaign. And last year, I kind of had to relive my story a little bit because 2019, I was at iHeartMedia early in the morning and had a stroke alert. And I remember thinking I had a date that night. I was dressed all pretty. And I was thinking like, wow, I had chest pain. And, next thing I started to go numb. And I'm talking to like morning coffee talk. And next thing you know, I went down. And and I remember thinking, I'm so embarrassed by this. And they took me to a back room. Next thing you know, the EMTs were cutting my top and getting to my heart, and I was in an ambulance. And every single minute counts
Right.
with all these things. And, but that reaction that you have of, well, this can't be happening, or you have to listen to your body because,
Absolutely.
and it's not like the warning signs are like super, I mean, the tendency is women's like, oh, I'll be okay. It's just a little,
Like
I'm thinking to myself, it's that, cup of coffee. I mean, I had no
gets you
business.
jittery.
I'm making excuses for all of it. And I lost my speech. I mean, I was going down very quickly,
Oh my
and I was in
God.
ICU. And when last year as a woman of impact, just even kind of reliving that, I will tell you, was very emotional because
Of
this is
course.
a campaign that gets to the heart of the matter, which is beautiful. And that's why, I think it does so well. But your story has really touched me. And, I'm just so happy that you're here this morning and that you have the courage to share it.
Of course, yeah, and this is what I want to like share with a lot of women and young moms, like because I want them to like learn about these things that could happen to you, and hopefully or try to prevent them as much as possible. I know like not everything is in your control and everyone's control, but I just want to have that message for people because I did go through something like really traumatic and really emotional, and yes, even talking about it sometimes like
I'm getting
like,
emotional. Just
I get
listening to
emotional,
it.
but it's something that I want to use that as like as a message and as like a powerful thing for me rather than like a weakness. It's more of a powerful thing for me to grow and to learn and to be an example for everybody.
Oh, you are a beautiful example, and you've gotten me emotional. And I will tell you that I always say that if we could turn our pain into purpose, then we've done a good thing. And that's exactly what you're doing. And to share that message because, at my age, well, people are like, you're expected to have, something go wrong, by the time you're 65. But, when you're young and, starting out a family and all those things, it's like just not supposed to happen. So
Right.
to share that message so that you can save another woman's life, another young
Exactly.
mom who, maybe ignoring it, or, maybe it's not even, because my understanding too is that sometimes women don't get it in their first, but maybe get
Maybe
it
it's
in
typical
another
like
pregnancy.
right, yes, and it can happen again in the next or the third, whatever. And I did check with my doctor because we do want to have more kids. I'm like, oh, is there a possibility of it happening a second time? He's like, yes, but it's not
Right.
could happen, couldn't. Look, so obviously that makes me a little bit like, oh, I don't want to feel those things again, but
You choose knowledge is power, and you choose faith over fear, and yes.
Exactly.
And you get babysitters and everything else to help you so that life
Yes.
isn't more stressful. You
Yes.
prepare for it.
Definitely. Like I learned that like you take all the help you can get and you use all the resources you can get, especially like as new parents. And at the beginning I was very stubborn about getting help. I'm like, no, I can do this. And my husband and I thought we were going to figure it out and we're going to be like super parents. And like within the first few days, we're like begging for help. We're like, please, somebody come here and help us because this is way more than we thought it was going to be.
Oh, yes, yes. Now, in terms of the campaign, let's talk a little bit the date of the event so we can share those.
Yes.
And talk about your team because you've put together a team for your impact team, or just talk about your campaign.
Okay, so first of all, my mother-in-law will be hosting a happy hour next week on February 18th. So that is a part of the campaign, and I'm really excited about it. And I'll be there to share a little bit more about the story. And then I will also be hosting a yoga event on March 8th at Brickell West Apartment Communities. So we're doing like a not a sunrise yoga, morning yoga from 9 to 11, and then we're gonna have raw juice, have like acai bowls and juices there. So I really wanted to promote like wellness and like kind of like mind body connection there, because my whole like mission is about like wellness and taking care of yourself. So I thought yoga is like the best thing to do. So I'm doing that, and then part of my team, I have my close friends that are on my team, and they're helping me like promote it. My husband has been a big support. He's been my biggest cheerleader, and
he's pretty amazing.
He is. He's been the best dad and the best husband. So he's been really supporting me in this campaign, and really proud of like all the work and the message that I'm sending to women.
That's incredible. Okay, so we have to promote that date.
Yes, March 8th.
I started doing yoga again, and it really has helped me, because I normally run in the morning, and and this year I said, Valentine's Day I'm going to give myself a gym membership, and I did that. But there's no doubt that health and wellness, what you eat, and exercise are an important part of taking care of your heart. So I will get the details and definitely be there. What has been the most maybe challenging thing with the campaign, and what has been the cherry and pit, as I used to say with my son? So the best thing and the highlight so far, and maybe the challenge.
The best thing I would say is just like really sharing my message and my story with people. I think has been the most exciting thing for me, because I'm happy that I can, be sharing this with women. But then the hardest part I would say is like obviously making the time. That's always challenging for everybody. And then just getting everyone encouraged to the team members was like a little bit challenging, actually. I had to kind of like to promote my friends, be like, oh please, like I'm doing this thing and help me. So I think that was probably the most challenging part, the team members.
I would share that with you.
The team members was
hard. What do I got to do? I'm like, bribery works.
I know. I was like, please, if you do this, then I'll help you out. I'll get you coffee, whatever.
I called in a lot of favors, and I was just like, But that managing your team,
the team is the hardest part. The other like more individual things, sure, I think is easier, because I can do that on my end. But the team part, I think, was challenging.
Well, I will share with you a secret. I finally found something that did work, and a healthy competitive sense. I would tell them where they were each other at. And I'm like, oh, great, bravo to so-and-so. She raised $1,000 this week. And then the other ones would be like, oh, well, I better.
Okay, that's helpful.
I mean, it worked for me. Let's just, but it was in giving kudos that, to the ones that were really, going a step and above, like we had one, Karina Pavoni, the CEO of Amigos for Kids, Nati Diaz on my team. And, I remember I was like, Paolo Severa from Miami Alkaline Water. And, whenever someone, did really well, sold a ticket to the, table, raised money, or try to get a partnership, I was just like, really give them props. And then the other ones would be like, oh, I better get on it. So
yeah, that's been a challenging part for me to do, just trying to get on top of everyone, like, oh, do this, do that. So that's been the hard part.
What's the date this year for the big event in
the luncheon?
The luncheon,
April 10th.
It's in April, so it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Last year
Time
was
is flying. Yeah.
okay. All right. So, and how are you doing so far with your campaign? Like, so,
I'm doing pretty good so far. I'd like to think so. So I think like trying to like promote the event and the happy hour and like telling my friends about it has been like a big thing, and they're even sharing it with their friends and their
mhm.
family. So like we're really like spreading the word a lot.
Right. No, and also too February. I mean, the whole idea of Go Red and for women and the messaging, it's all out there. So it's a matter of, but sharing your personal story because it's so touching, and I really believe that it's a part of the community that, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard a story like yours, and and at least last year, not that it didn't exist, I just didn't hear it. So I love the fact that you're bringing in that younger mom and younger demographic. The year before, I had gone to the luncheon actually with Anna, and I remember the story that I heard that really touched my heart. It was a young girl, young woman, at the age of 20, who was in school, and she was in college. She was away from home, and she had a stroke. And I remember like watching, at the event, because all these stories just, they impact you. And I remember just, coming to tears hearing that. So, and she's fine and great and doing really well. But, that age discrimination, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's a silent killer, and it does not discriminate.
Yeah, yeah, like I would never think that like, something would be affecting my heart because I think like, okay, I'm healthy, I'm fine, I'm working out. Like, yeah, I have stress, but I never thought to the point where it would affect me. And I think managing your stress has been or is a big learning lesson for me, like especially now as a new mom. Like that's how trying to balance out like everything in your life, and stress is a big contributor to your heart health, and obviously like what you eat, what you drink, if you're exercising, and then smoking, alcohol, all of that stuff like affects like your heart health. So yes, there is like an age discrimination to it that I didn't expect that would affect young women like such as myself. So now I'm a lot more aware of like what I'm like putting into my body, or trying to be more aware of it. Everyone tries to make their best effort. So trying to exercise more and just like have like constant like follow-ups and make sure like I'm doing okay, because the recovery part of having a baby is like another element of like pregnancy is one thing, and then the recovery part is another step that you also have to be conscious about, even with your heart health too, because you never know if your blood pressure rises or falls. And I had moments like that after I had my son where I still had to watch my blood pressure, probably like the first month, and then it kind of stabilized after that. So that was also like a little scary for me. So it's been a big it's a big wake up call that you never know until I guess.
Right. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so for your campaign, why don't you share with the audience how to donate, all those fun things, if they want to support you, where to go, how to find you, and to give.
Yes. So I have my link to my website. I can share it with everyone. And if
When we share the show, we'll share the
yes,
link.
the
How
link.
about that? Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then for the yoga event, everyone, you're welcome to come to the yoga event. We're gonna have an instructor from Casa Vinyasa teach the class, which I used to go to the studio, so that's why I really wanted the instructor to teach there. So I would, if you want to join my team, happy to have more people on my team. Whoever is, interested.
Is it on Eventbrite, or how does someone register for the yoga event?
They just have to RSVP to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just need that, and then I just need to know like they can.
So we'll
RSVP.
share all those details on an Instagram post, IG, and our stories get a lot of traction. So we'll
Yes.
share the details with
Okay.
links and all the good stuff.
Yes, so happy to have anyone join my team, and please donate. This is a really wonderful cause, and really like to learn more about it and get more involved. It's really important.
I was looking at the kickoff photos of the event from last year, and we had these red glasses, and oh, I mean, it was just it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We took a Sprinter van up to the event, and it was like 12 women in a Sprinter van, and we just had a lot of fun. In fact, this morning I was going to bring you the sash because
Oh.
you're wearing this like Miss America, Woman of Impact sash, and I keep that proudly displayed in my bedroom. By the way, I
Yeah, of
still do.
course.
But
Yes.
I mean, there's so many really fun, touching aspects to it, and so it's a the kickoff event and the actual luncheon are just really spectacular.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it this year. Yeah.
And then you're gonna dress the baby in red at some point.
Of course, yes, yes, of course. He'll be dressed in red tomorrow for Valentine's Day and for the event as well. Yes.
And so we're almost out of time, but what would be the advice that you would give to your younger self? Like, this is very life-changing when you go through a scare like this, and what advice would you give to a young Jessica?
I would probably tell myself, like, just be a lot more aware of your body. Listen to your body. That is the biggest thing. Listen to your body. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. And use these moments of, like, I guess, life-changing moments as like your superpower, as your strength, and use those as teaching moments, and just really remember yourself, and really remember, like, investing in yourself is the most important thing. And that's what I've really taught myself, is that if I'm not investing in myself, then I can't be there for everybody. So that's the most important investment you can make, is in yourself.
I love that. That's really good advice. I would tell my younger self not to stress so much, because I was the worry club.
I do. I still worry, like that I can add that to the list of advice. Like, do not, like, stress so much, but it's always so easy to stress. Like, that easier said than done.
Right. No, absolutely. And I'm curious, in terms of young moms, like, do you have a community or support group, or, career moms, a whole nother class, right?
Right.
So you have your friends who go through have babies and so forth, but is there anything else that you do in terms of community support groups or anything like that?
No, I would love to find one. I would love to find, like, a mom group, like, who have really, like, been like, has been my big resource. Have been, like, my sister is a new mom. Well, not a new mom. She has 2 kids, and now she's expecting a third.
Oh, wow.
And then my best friend also had her baby like 2 months before my son was born. And then I have other friends that also, like, had their kids around the same time. So they're, like, my biggest, like, resource in terms of, like, motherly advice, like, asking them questions of, like, how they felt, like, postpartum. And so it was a big help to have them. And I mean, if there are other mom groups out there, I still need to learn about them. I'm sure
We have
it's
some moms in
super
our
helpful.
group. We have a rock
Yes.
star group. Well, we'll tell you about
Yeah,
that.
I would love to, have a new mom group, because that's just super helpful. But yeah, I just had, like, my close, like, family network that has been, like, my support throughout my new mom journey.
That's wonderful. Well, you're beautiful, inside and out. And February for us, we kicked off a series which is for the love of giving back, and have been featuring charities, doing giveaways, doing social giveaways, and everything else. So, today, the for the love of giving back, we ask you, our audience, to support this Woman of Impact Go Red campaign nominee, and just do what you can to give it back. I mean, there are a lot of their candidates, so sometimes people don't understand, but we also have Renee Lopez Quintero, who's in our group, who's a Woman of Impact. But the idea is to give back and to support your campaign. And we will be there at the luncheon cheering you on. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your story, because it is truly inspirational. Thank
Of
you for
course.
being on
Thank you for
Spotlight.
having me. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you next week on Spotlight TV. Thank you for joining us. And once again, you can further join and give back by joining the Go Red for Women campaign at American Heart Association South Florida. So we'll see you at the luncheon in April. Thanks for tuning in.